is the meaning of 1 volt per second. Okay, let's continue for the next interval. Next interval is again you have zero. No, again you have zero here. So substitute this zero in the equations, then you have a 0 volt per second. What is the meaning of 0 volt per second? It doesn't mean that 0 volt, but it will give no change anymore at the output. And the output from the previous second is at -4. So you will have a -4. You will continue to have a -4 for the whole interval section here. And this is the meaning of 0 volt per second. Per second is mean that no change. So it also depends on the previous sections that what is the voltage state. In this case, the voltage stay at -4 volt, then you will have no change anymore. You still maintain this -4 volt for the whole intervals. The last, not the last, for the last sections. Here is these intervals, 1 second interval here, you will have a -1 error here. You substitute this -1 error, then you will get at the end +1 volt per second. What is the meaning of +1 volt per second? It means that the next second will increase for 1 volt. So now the voltage stay at -4. Then in the next second you will have -3. -3 is around here. -3. And it is for +1 per second. So if you have to work with integrator, you must exactly know what is the sign. Minus or plus. Plus is mean increase and minus is mean decrease. Okay, the last section. You see here is Viola is equal to 0. So now is 0 volt per second again. 0 volt per second is mean it will have no change. So the previous second is at -3. Then you will still have -3. And this mean 0 volt per second. We are again here. Here is at the output of integrator. At the output of integrator, you increase in the change at the output by current. So it can be calculated by this equations. dV out 2 by dt is equal to minus Ti multiplied by V Euler. So you have to use the information of V Euler to analyze the response and the output of integrations. So what is Ki? Ki is equal to 1 over Ri and Ci. So you have to go to the circuit to see that what is the value of Ci and Ri. In this case, I define as 10 kilo ohm and 100 microfarads. So if you make the multiplications, you will have something like 1. Then you will have minus 1 over 1, then you have 1 here, multiplied with V Euler. You will have minus 1 Euler, minus 1 Euler at the unit in volt per second. So you simply just make the substitute of the V Euler in each time, in each second here, you will have this graph. If you get the result of 0 volt per second, it doesn't mean that you have to get the 0 at the output, but 0 volt per second is means no change of the voltage anymore. So for example, if you have the starting point at 0 volt, you have to continue to 0 volt. But in this case, if we say that, for example, I have V0, if we have V0 is equal to 1 volt, you will have something like this. Do you understand? So also it's dependent on the previous voltage.
อาจารย์ครับตรงนี้ถอยลง
If you calculate and you get 0 volt per second, 0 volt per second, it doesn't mean that you have 0 here, but it means that no change from the previous voltage. So if the starting voltage is not 0, you have to maintain the voltage. ถ้าจุดเริ่มต้นไม่ใช่0โวลต์0โวลต์เปอร์เซ็นต์แปลว่าไม่เปลี่ยนแปลง ไม่เปลี่ยนแปลงคือข้างหน้าเป็นยังไงต้องคงไว้เท่านั้น ถ้าเริ่มต้นด้วยเลข1แสดงว่าก็ต้อง1ต่อไป เหมือนอย่างตรงนี้0 โวลต์เปอร์เซ็นต์ข้างหน้าเป็นเลข-4ก็ต้อง-4ต่อไปดังนั้น0 โวลต์เปอร์เซ็นต์แปลว่าไม่มีอัตราการเปลี่ยนแปลงที่เอาพุทถ้าได้-1 โวลต์เปอร์เซ็นต์ลบกับบวกบอกทิศทางถ้าลบแปลว่าใน1เซกถัดไปจะลดลง1 โวลต์ถ้าตรงนี้เริ่มที่0เซกถัดไปก็จะลดลง1 โวลต์เป็น-1เซกถัดไปก็จะลดลงอีก1 โวลต์เป็น-2เซกถัดไปก็เป็น-3เซกถัดไปก็เป็น-4เข้าใจไหมOkay, this is the response curve at the output of integrator. Now let's see the combination effect between P and I. Now we will do the last section here. We try to evaluate what should be the output of the controller. In this case, so output from the controller is the output of the summing amplifier. If you can recall that the summing amplifier, it equations, it will have something like that. You have V out 1 plus V out 2 because the gain of the circuit is equal to 1. Then I can write the output equations like this. V out of controller is equal to minus. Why it is minus? Because you have input voltage, both input voltage of summing amplifier is at the inverting pin. So you will have output that out of it from the Vin. Then you will get the minus here. Then you have a minus V out 1. V out 1 plus V out 2. Only that is pretty easy for summing amplifier. Output equation of summing amplifier which have the gain of 1. Okay, now something might not be easy in this case. That means you must use the informations of V out 1 graph and the V out 2 graph. For the first step or the first section here, it will not have any problem. You will have only minus 0 plus 0, you will get 0. Okay, the difficulty will increase in the next step. The point is, if you see here, in the same time scale, in the same time scale, you have two values of V out, not the same, not only one but two. So you have something like, I would say that this point is